Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dennis Duke Wonyala. If you're new here, kindly subscribe. This is the Duke's Farm, where rabbitry, everything farming is our top #1 priority, and of course not forgetting transparency. Before me, this is a nesting box, and tonight or today we're going to learn how to make one of these. One of the reasons as to why we are trying to make one of these is because in rabbitry or in any other business, you'd want to save as much cost as possible so that you can maximize on the profits. And in rabbitry, you can't benefit if you are just being extravagant. Now, very many people I know who are on large scale would want to go into hiring somebody into making them this particular one, simply for one or two reasons. One is they do not know how to make it. Two is they're a bit lazy. So that's why I encourage people to actually engage themselves in everyday or in the day-to-day running of this business so that they can save on that extra cost and be able to maximize on the profits. In this particular video, I'll be also talking about the benefits of this nesting box and how and when to introduce it into the cage for the mother to benefit and the kids to benefit as well. So let's go straight into the video. Now, before I talk about the importance of this, or before I even start how to make one of these, I would love to note that this nesting box is made of different dimensions, and of course different people make it their own way, and this is my way, or this is our way on this particular channel, and that's how we're going to learn how to make this. We've been using these nesting boxes for a couple of months now, and we've been very successful in actually breeding our rabbits, or keeping our baby rabbits very, very safe. Different people as well use different dimensions and different material, but for today, some of the things that we are going to use, the equipment that we're going to use, we are going to use this. It's called, I think, a bosso, a small bosso, or siso. I don't know how to call it, but yes, it helps us in cutting these plywoods. We have a hammer. You all know what a hammer does. It just hitting. We also have a tape measure that will be helping us know what dimension we shall be working with today. We also have some plywoods out there that I may not have shown you. We also have this big bosso. Yeah, now this is a big bosso that will be helping us cut the timber and of course cut other things right here on this particular video, in this particular video. Now also we have this. This is a rabbit mesh. This is a wire mesh, I think. Yes, it's a rabbit mesh. And the benefit or the use of this, some people don't use it, but I recommend to use it. We put it down here. We put it down here under it, so that when a mother rabbit, some mother rabbits are very, very active and they feed or they breastfeed their kids themselves. So you wouldn't want your box to be congested with droppings from the mother rabbit, so that when you have that, the droppings just go direct down and you're not interfering with the hygiene of this particular box. Also, now let's go into the nitty-gritty of this particular video. In this nesting box, as you can see today, I have some beautiful kids here that have been surviving in here. That's why I decided to make this video for you who have been complaining, my kids are dying, my kids are dying. You don't know that introducing a nesting box to the cage is very important. As you can see, they're very lively. Can you talk? Say hello to our people. Say hello. Hello. They don't want to talk. Let me put them back. So this nesting box as well, I was telling you, we have plywood on the sides, and then we have some timbers. Now today we're going to use timber of this nature, something like this. Yeah. So I'll be cutting this in 2 different pieces, and then we shall be using this for today's lesson. So let's start today. So finally, before even going to the making of this, this nesting box is very, very, very key and very important. When do you introduce it into the cage? You introduce it, many people prefer 1 week, but I recommend about 4 days before it actually gives birth. And somebody would be asking, when do you know it's actually going to give birth? There are so many things. One is good record keeping, but also now if you have poor record keeping, you won't know. And so you will be at a risk of actually losing your kids. 2 is it starts to plow or pull far from its, I don't know if it's plucking or something, but it gets off far from its body and tries to like create a nesting box. So it's very important to introduce it before it actually starts doing that. So this is where it creates that, it puts the fur wing. Now, after making this and after it making the nest within this nesting box, what you do, you get a cotton cloth. I don't recommend cotton for its different disadvantages. I recommend a cloth, a cotton cloth, where you put it down here so that you can help keep these kids warm. Coldness kills the kids. I repeat, coldness kills the kids. Sometimes some mothers are not good at plucking fur from their bodies and creating a nesting box or a soft surface, a smooth surface where these guys can land. So you need to actually put there a cloth, a cotton cloth to be specific, so that you can help them get some warmth in there. It also helps you, this very nesting box, it helps you keep away predators or keep these kids away from predators like dogs, like cats, like rats, among many others. And you can do that by actually, this opening side, you face it on the wall so that these kids are in there at least a bit safe and not exposed to any danger. The mother, or even those people who keep the mother rabbit and the father rabbit in the same cage with the baby rabbits, they do make a lot of risk. So this nesting box still helps it in terms of keeping it safe from both parents, because the parents can also do what we call cannibalism on their own kids. So I thought you should know some of the benefits and when to introduce this particular nesting box. So let's go straight into what we were meant to do today, and that is how to create the nesting box. So today we start by measuring our width. So let's measure our length. We are measuring our length. And so today we are going to use something between, let's use, I think, 18 inches for today. So we are using 18 inches for this experiment. You can use any that you want. So we're going to be cutting that, as you can see. I hope it doesn't take a lot of your time, but all we are trying to do is to learn how to make a nesting box. So the length is going to be 18 inches. You can convert that into centimeters depending on how, or feet depending on what you use at your farm. Today we are using inches. And then the width we shall use, I think, not I think, but we are going to use 10 inches. And then the height we shall also use, I think, 12 inches, if not 10 inches. We shall be customizing that depending on what we want here on the farm. So let's first have this cut before we do something else. So when we are done with our length, we want to do also the width. So for the width, we shall measure 10 inches on the tape measure, and then cut those times 2. So we will need, because we need 2 widths, so we shall use 10 of those. I'll be showing you. So we shall be cutting from there and then duplicating that so we can have 2 sides. So everything here on the farm, like I said, is manual. We haven't been able to purchase some electrical appliances yet. We do not have electricity in this or on these premises due to national issues. We don't have power in the whole entire area. So we are just hoping that in the next couple of weeks we can introduce solar so that we are able to run some of those machineries that can be used in cutting maybe some of this timber. But we also haven't bought some of those. So for any sponsorship deals, Any offers, please reach us to that particular number, or you can inbox us or email us at dukesmedia12@gmail.com. So after we are done with the cuttings, the next stage, or the other stage that we are going into, is to actually start assembling some of these, and I'll put these away so that we can now start hitting with the nail and a hammer. So okay, I have a colleague of mine here, he's Brian, and he's been the one helping us on so many things, or with so many things around this farm. So these timbers were recently used for some work, so we just shifted them here. We shall clean them later on so that there is no any dust whatsoever, so that we do not again infect or have sick rabbits or kids on the farm. So this is how we're going to make it. So the first thing is to make it in this shape, and then eventually we shall put it in another shape. Here. Maybe if I don't advise the 2-inch nail, because it will somehow break some of your wood. So ideally we are using a 1.5 inches to be able to attach this properly. Yep, something like that. So this is how you knock. Okay, and then you attach another nail this side, but be careful not to hit your hands. So another thing, you come this side, so when this is done, this is how it looks like. So the next thing we want to do is just to put here a supporting pole, one of these, and then the rest of the entire place. On this top we are going to put a plywood. Now this plywood, you just put it halfway, you don't have to cover the entire area, or the entire top area. So we shall get I think a pole, then we put it here for, actually we put it down here for supporting when you're heating remember we are putting some wire mesh down here. So that pole is going to support this from entering into each other, but also it's going to give us support when we are actually heating the wire mesh down here. So what we are going to do next is to get that small timber, we put it here, and then the rest of the things will be of course put later. But that's of course plywood halfway on top and then halfway bottom. Why? Because we want as enough space here for the mother rabbit to be able to jump in and then jump out, jump in and then jump out, for those ones that do breastfeed. So let's get a pole that we are going to demonstrate for this particular cage making. So this is a 2x2 kind of pole, and we want to use it to benefit us in this cage construction. So we'll just have to measure here, and then we somehow cut it off like this. So this is how it's going to be. As you can see, we've put this here and this here. So what we're going to do is just to heat it so that it gets stuck in here and we don't have any challenges with it. You can attach another, can add another nail. So both sides you do the same. You need to confirm. So this is our frame, as you can see. The next thing is to cut the plywood and put half of it here and then half of it here, and then later have our wire mesh fixed in here. As simple as that. So let's do that in the next couple of few or seconds or minutes. So finally, guys, we have our, wire mesh. We've just cut it. We didn't show you that process, but we've just cut it because I didn't want this video to be very, very long for people not to be able to watch it. So what we're going to do is just to measure here, and we see how best it fits it, and then we, cut off this entire area. But for now, let's be hitting it with a 1-inch nail. And finally, we come to the end of our session today. We've been able to learn how to actually make a nesting box. As you can see, this was our last stage. We've put a rabbit mesh or a wire mesh, the green one, the coated color, a green coated wire mesh that's used mostly for rabbits. And this is our beautiful rabbit nesting box where we shall be putting the new kits that we are expecting very soon. I don't know whether you've benefited, but well, that's all I had for you today. Please leave a comment in the comment section and like this video, share it with different farmers, share it with your friends that are in need of actually making this. You can reach me on those particular numbers on the screen or write to me at dukesmedia12@gmail.com, and I'll be responding to some of your questions, some of your queries. I'll be showing you more videos in regards to rabbitry in the next couple of videos. So for now, it's a goodbye.